and hydrating like crazy.
Yes.
Did we break the record of 92 degrees?
Yesterday, we did not.
How about today?
I don't know. I haven't heard today yet. It probably is still being worked on.
Well, yesterday worked on me pretty good.
Well, we're not used to it. You know, it was 50 degrees a week ago.
Yep. Yeah.
And we had such beautiful weather over the weekend with low humidity.
Oh, yeah.
And now we have soup.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like I'm babysitting a dog still, and he turned around. I took him out into the backyard rather than take him for a walk, and he couldn't make it back into the house fast enough. He's 13.
Smart cookie.
As you can probably see, we are now live streaming.
Okay.
And Carrie, if you can keep an eye on the phone in case our guest is having trouble and gives a call.
Okay, so we're waiting on Gerald and Jones here. Mark's here. Hey, it's so nice to see Mark not in a car or the Metro Link. So we're just waiting on Aaron and Kathleen, is that right?
And Latrice.
And Latrice.
Can I get a microphone check? How do I sound?
Sound good?
You sound great.
Very good, thank you. Just trying a new audio here.
Oh. Okay. Well, it's my clock says it's 5:13. So let's give it another couple minutes.
Edmund, can I ask you about Arlo, how baby Arlo is doing?
Oh my goodness. She, as I understand it, was at Galleria this afternoon and was enjoying the fountains, and that works right in with her new swim lessons. So
Hey,
she's a
Mr.
water baby. She's enjoying the water. And everything else. Everything else brings a big smile to her face.
Nice to be at that age and be able to laugh at everything.
Yeah.
Okay, here you are.
You still got it. You still got it in you. I get to take care of her for about 6 hours tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that.
Have fun.
Right. We're in the meeting, but I don't know what we're doing.
So there. Here, Jane, it's 5:15.
I know.
Just Patrick, I don't see explicitly where it says that we're streaming, so I don't know.
Okay, yeah, it should
saw
say
the notice
at the
come
top
through.
of
It's at the top of the screen.
Okay.
and I did check, it's on both Facebook and YouTube.
I'm gonna go in again.
Okay. It might be
Hello,
this.
Frank, can you hear us?
We're having a little trouble with getting the,
Let me just-
can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you and we can see.
Okay, great, I'm here.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay. Well, Patrick, it is now 5:15, so I'd like to call the meeting to order. And Cindy, can you please call the roll?
Sure. Edmund Acosta,
Here.
It's fine, Jane.
Mark Barnes,
Here,
Aaron Ginsberg,
Here.
Joan Greco Cohen, Latrice Johnson, Gerald Lander,
He's here.
Okay, I think I'm sorry, raised hand. Helen Nelling,
Here.
And
Kathleen Simpson,
the meeting is Tuesday.
and Cindy Zerwas here.
Tuesday, what time is?
And from the library, Patrick Wall and Carrie Bruce. Mr. Clay is here as well, our council liaison. And then we have a guest, Frank Ollendorf.
Okay.
Thank you. I wanted to alert the library board that the project across the street at City Hall and the annex and the old library building has been the subject of very detailed, thorough analysis by the city council, city manager, the staff. For the last 3 years, they've had at least 7 study sessions and many conversations in between. They're at the final
6 o'clock.
decision point.
Can they hear
And they
you?
would like at this point to
Ask them if they
alert
can
all
hear
the
you.
citizens to a meeting next Tuesday evening at
6 o'clock.
at 6 p.m. at the community center. They'll be showing a video of the new police station in our City Hall annex. As I'm sure you know, the City Hall and its annex are National Register buildings with national fame. And the final step in the process of rebuilding the Civic Plaza is in this next phase. It's about a $20 million project, and it involves turning the annex, the historic annex, keeping the exterior exactly as it is. And then the inside will be a totally modern, up-to-date police station. It'll be one of the finest police stations you will see, and it's what our officers deserve and what our citizens deserve. Adjacent to that, the old library, the 630 Trinity building, will also be the exterior totally restored and preserved. And the interior will house, the main feature is the city court and the traffic violations bureau, all the offices connected with the court. And one aside that symbolizes what University City has always stood for, being in the forefront of relating between law enforcement, citizens, the separation of the court system from the police system, which reached the low point in Ferguson. There's been a lesson well learned that we've had in our plans for many years. So the court will now be separate from the police. The point we're at today is that after 3 years of study, the city council has reached a final decision on exactly what's to be built. And you have a plan.
Let's see if I can
Look
pull.
at the full page drawing, and hopefully you got a better copy this afternoon than the original. If you could look at that plan, and let me run through it real quickly with you. The whole point being that we want you to know, the library board, what's at stake, and your best chance to have a voice in this is next Tuesday evening, after they give you a thorough presentation. Then there'll be a chance for questions and comments, and time is of the essence here because the work is underway now by the architect Trivers to draw up the final plans and specifications. They're to be finished by the end of July. Then the project will go out to bid in August, September, and construction should start October this fall, October 1st, and be completed December, 14 months later, December 23. So what they're going to build is what's before you. And if you take a look at the bottom of the bottom line is Martin Luther King Drive. Your driveway is, if you look at the words at the bottom line, the site plan, overview site plan, your driveway, if you drew a line straight down over the V, overview, and a line straight down
I don't.
over the illustrative, are you that making any sense? At the bottom left, next to the
Yeah,
word
unfortunately, Frank, I couldn't get the other one you sent on there. So you've got the one where we're over on the, on the left of your screen, just off the edge there would be where the library is.
right. The library driveway would be between a vertical line between over the V overview and a vertical line over the D or the L illustration.
So right over
Does that
here.
make any sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're just right off the
That's your
connector, right over here, just
Okay,
across
so
Mike King Drive.
what they're, now if we, let's start up the left-hand side and you're going up Delmar, you come to Trinity and you make the right turn onto Trinity,
Right over here.
go up to two big trees. And you get the entry to the City Hall parking lot. The small words you can't read say secure entry, secured entry. That means no more public access. That driveway and the what's now public parking is going to be secured parking. That means it's fenced off, protected parking for the police department and city officials. The parking continues, the secured parking continues east between the Trinity building and the annex, as it is now. Recall, if you come in the driveway off Trinity, you can turn right into the city parking, public parking, which is now going to be secured parking. You can't go there anymore. You go straight through, you go past the Trinity building, and you come to the, on the right is more secure parking for the police. You continue around south, around that, I'm sorry, east around that secured parking. And everything south of, I'm sorry, north, everything north of that line is public parking. Okay. In other words, the right-hand side of this sketch, public parking is the area where Delmar Harbor Playground is now, and where the temporary police station is now. That's where you park if you want to go to City Hall or the police station or the old library building. Now, if you continue south then on Martin Luther King.
Sergeant Mike King.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, right. I'm a King Drive. And you go past the Trinity building, which has secured parking, but between King and Trinity building. Then you continue and you come to the annex, which is going to be the new police station. And it's fantastic. I've seen much of the detail of this, and city council and staff did a fantastic job. I really think we're going to have one of the best police stations you've ever seen. Then you continue on, and there are 5 hash marks. Those are the 5 parking places available at City Hall. That's it. There are 5 parking places for City Hall. The front entrance of City Hall on Delmar is going to be closed. You'll no longer be able to walk up the steps in front of City Hall. The back entrance to City Hall off of the City Hall parking lot will also be closed to the public. It'll be locked and just for police entry. So the bottom line is anyone, the only way to get to this whole complex is on the King Drive off of Delmar. Think of driving to the library. You're coming down Delmar and you turn left and you come to the library driveway. Well, pretty much across from that, there are going to be the 5 parking places. If you're going on a quick trip into City Hall to grab something, you get one of those 5 parking spaces and you go in and come out. If you're going to the City Hall and you need to park, or if you're going to the police station and you need to park, or if you're going to the Trinity building and you need to park, you keep on going till you get down to the North 40, and that's where the public parking is. So the bottom line for the library is that anyone going to either the City Hall or the or the police station or the courts in the Trinity building are going to be going right by your driveway into the library and on back to the public parking. So that's really the whole picture. And the main reason for me presenting this to you is so that you can be aware of what's coming. And if you have any concerns about it or want further information, next Tuesday night's the place to learn more and say more. And as the project is on a really tight schedule, there's a very small window for people like you and I to say what we think. So that's what I wanted to present, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. If not, I'll see some of you next Tuesday, hopefully.
I think Gerald is trying to talk, but he's on mute. Jerry, you're on mute.
It's unmuted now. My question, Frank, is at the present time, to get to the temporary police station,
Yes.
you still are going by our driveway, right?
Correct, but I have an alternative. I could come in off of Trinity on the driveway into the City Hall parking and continue south. And one other thing I omitted, the new hotel also has a driveway onto King Drive. So you'll also be getting some traffic coming in and out of the hotel on King Drive.
Okay.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Ollendorf?
Mr. Ollendorf, my name is Edmund, and I imagine that the city owns some vehicles, mostly police vehicles. Where are they parked overnight, and where's the maintenance shop for the city fleet?
Right now, we go by City Hall almost any time, but best time to answer your particular question is after 5 o'clock, after City Hall closes. That's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And you'll see that there are civilian vehicles, cars, pickups, whatever, in both there. Last night, there were 3 police officers' personal cars in the City Hall parking lot. There were about 12 or 13 police officer cars in front of the police station, the new police station, I mean, the annex, not the present police station. And there are 2 or 3 more on the site of the temporary police station. The police cars were parked in back of Trinity. There's some, if you come down the driveway off of Trinity, down between Trinity building and the annex building, down that driveway, there are city vehicles along that driveway. There are about a dozen like city inspectors and different non-uniform employees parked on that driveway. And then there are police cars in back of Trinity in the area that's actually directly behind the Trinity building. So there's like a double row down that driveway, down the roadway. There are city cars on one side of that drive. And in back of the city cars behind the Trinity building are all the police cars. Now, at any given time in the evening, like 6 or 7 p.m., about the only thing there is police. Everyone else has gone home. And right now, the library is closed. So you can pretty well figure that every car there is either a police car or a police officer's car.
Thank you, sir.
Other questions?
I did want to interject one point, and Frank, thank you so much for making this presentation. The front access to City Hall, still a bit of an open question. I think we heard from folks like Frank and others about having multiple points of access to City Hall, because we still will, it'll still be City Hall. We'll still have functioning departments in there. So I'm not sure that's quite a settled question. I think as this board understands, doing a major renovation, things change quite a bit. And so again, Frank and I think others have talked about the limited access that would result from just the rear door. So it's still kind of an open question. I would not say that that's absolutely settled yet. To Frank's point, that was contemplated at one time, but I think it's still somewhat up in the air.
I think that's exactly right. And it's an area that, my personal opinion, I've tried to be totally factual, just for the record. I think the council and city have done a fantastic job on the redesign of the annex into a first-class police station. There are other aspects of this that I personally have some questions and concerns. For instance, I'd rather see the public parking for the city hall where it is now and put the police back where they're going to put public parking in the new plan. So anyone looking at this is University City, and we have such a diversity of opinions that
So Frank, do you think that our parking lot will be, what you're trying to say is, do you think our parking lot might be impacted by other people parking in our spaces once our library is completed? Is that what you're saying? We should have concern about that?
I think that there are two things. First, let's say you're going to City Hall. You gotta pick up a permit or something, or you have some questions for someone there or a meeting. I'm not going to drive all the way down to that public parking and then walk all the way back to City Hall. I'm going to pull into the library driveway, as long as it's between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Now, some of you may be up for, if it was a part of my daily exercise, I might park far away, but normally I'd be tempted. Now, as far as adequate parking, there's more than adequate parking. This plan calls for 65 spaces for the police. And I think my guess is they need 30 or 40. There's over 100 spaces for the public, and my guess is we need 40 or 50 there. So I think this plan calls for more than enough parking that should alleviate any stress on the library driveway, although it might tempt someone like me who's lazy to park in your driveway. So I guess you can look at it either way, but there's not going to be a shortage of parking.
So we would have, I mean, as far as the library goes, people could park in the public parking area and go to the library if they needed to.
Oh, sure. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah,
Gotcha.
that parking will be available to all.
Gotcha.
The only time I think, and I understand that the primary occasion when the library is hit with a parking issue is when there's a heavily attended city council meetings. You get a controversial issue and 60 people show up for the council meeting, they're going to park everywhere, including your driveway. But other than that, you all are more aware than I am of whether you've had a parking problem. But this plan is going to bring a lot more people into your driveway, into the King Drive. A lot more people, a lot more cars. But it's also providing a lot more parking spaces. So the question is, are they in the right place?
Yeah.
To me.
And I'd be happy to attend the meeting on Tuesday night if board members would like to send me if you can't attend and you'd like to send me your concerns too.
If I could make just one more comment, that this meeting tomorrow night next Tuesday was brought about by Stacy Clay.
Oh.
He's the one at the July 12th meeting last summer, council study session, said we have to have an opportunity for the citizens to learn about our plans, be fully informed, and be given the opportunity to comment on all of this. So Stacy's the one that brought about next week's meeting.
Not just me, the whole council, but I appreciate that acknowledgement, Frank. Thank you.
The library is not taking a position on this as a library. So those of you on the board who are interested in learning more, you could reach out to Patrick or you could reach out to Stacy. And certainly you can make your opinions known at next Tuesday's meeting. If you do so, or if you send an opinion, please do let people know that you are a member of the library board. I'd like to thank Mr. Ohlendorf for taking his time to run us through this situation. So,
You're welcome.
okay.
Thank you.
We have a really full agenda tonight, so we're gonna move on. The next item on the agenda is the minutes, approval of the minutes from the last meeting.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from our last library board meeting.
I'll
Is there a
second that. Sorry.
It's okay. A motion has been made and seconded that we approve the minutes from the last meeting. Cindy, would you call the roll?
Edmund Acosta. Edmund, you're muted.
Yes.
Mark Barnes,
Aye.
Aaron Ginsberg,
Aye.
Joan Greco Cohen,
Yes.
Gerald Lander,
Yes.
Helen Nelling,
Yes.
Kathleen Simpson,
Aye.
and Cindy Zerwas, yes.
Okay, the minutes have been approved. The next item on the agenda is correspondence. Patrick, do we have correspondence?
Yes, we received let's see, a nice card from Kathleen Gallagher, thanking everybody, for her time at the library, and she will miss us all. We received a note from a family who is moving to Virginia and wanted to let us know how wonderful it has been to have this library. Storytimes visits hundreds of books. Very appreciative family, the Novocells. And then we received a letter from the International Union of Painters and Allied Trades, representing the Glaziers Sunshine Law request for copies of all certified payroll information for particular subcontractors for particular time periods. And we're still in the process of complying with that fully. There's been some questions going back and forth between the library, our attorneys, and the various, both the union and then the subcontractor and contractor.
Okay.
Hopefully that'll all be resolved soon. It doesn't look like there's been, at this point, any non-compliance.
Okay,
with
thank you. Prevailing wage.
The Wage Act, yeah. Prevailing wage, yes, thank you. So that's our correspondence.
Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is our council liaison report. Councilperson Clay?
Yes, thank you, everyone. As Frank noted, we are having an informational session about the new police station and the things that are happening with the Trinity building, I believe next Tuesday at 6 p.m. So I hope all of you can attend as either as a citizen or a library board member or both. In terms of council actions, we had a meeting on Monday. And the biggest thing we did was impanel the Third Ward Revitalization Task Force. And so that was one of the commitments that the council made to ensure that the $10 million that will be gained from the Costco development that's going to the Third Ward specifically, Third Ward residents will have a voice in how those funds are used. And so I want to acknowledge my colleagues for bringing that to fruition. It's a very, very proud day for University City. We're continuing with the Costco construction. You may have seen the steel erection coming online there. So it's coming. We're making progress. I'll take any questions anyone.
Yeah. Stacy, both Patrick and Frank mentioned that the hotel is again in play. Does that have is that a permitted project?
I have heard the hotel is coming back online. Let me commit to working with Patrick to follow up on that. As we've done in the past, I'll communicate with the city manager, get the best information on that. As you know, it's ebbed and flowed, and it's been a little tricky for me to keep track on whether it's ebbing or flowing. But I will, I'll make sure I follow up with Patrick on getting the answers to where the hotel is.
Okay, great. Does anybody have, Cindy?
I have a question on the meeting next Tuesday. Could you clarify, please, Mr. Clay? Is it at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m.?
I believe it's at 6 p.m.
Mr. Ollendorf said 7 is the reason I'm asking.
Yeah, let me scan my emails here. I think I can get you. What I will do is let me look at my emails. I'll put the correct time in the chat.
Great, thank you.
And what is the projected date for the Costco to be completed? You've mentioned that before, and I can't remember.
This fall, October, possibly. It could be sooner with the progress they're making. I was surprised they got up what they did so quickly, but I think it's safe to say October.
Thank you.
Any other questions for?
Again, I apologize for my video. It's freezing things up, so I'm saving bandwidth.
That's quite all right. Okay, we have now, for some reason, public comment is repeated in the agenda, but we're going to move on to the librarians report. Patrick.
Yes, a lot happening with personnel, as mentioned in the library issues parts. Carrie Bruce, this is her first meeting as officially as assistant director. So yeah, congratulations to her.
Welcome, Carrie.
Yeah. And we've got several other new staff joining us, and then we've got a position posted for a part-time temporary summer library staff member to help with youth services. And then we do have one in the action items, another ask of the board for a staff member. Is there anything that the board would like to pull out of the consent agenda? And I would like to again apologize for the delays in getting the complete packet to everyone. And we do have the 3 additional non-paginated pages in the revised packet that have 3 items in the consent agenda that's listed on page 7 of the revised agenda.
Okay.
No revised packet, sorry.
Okay. Does anyone have questions about those items on page 7? Patrick, do you want to go into a little detail about where we are on the project, or do you want to do that as part of the Building and Grounds Committee?
We've got that under discussion items, so whenever you want to do that, yes,
Okay.
certainly.
All right. Is there anything else on the consent agenda?
I would point out page 19 and 20. I just found out at the MLC meeting that 2 of the MLC libraries have installed these bicycle repair stations that seem to be quite popular and pretty cool looking. So hopefully we can talk about getting one of those before we open the newly renovated building.
What stations?
Bicycle repair station.
Wow.
Those cool pictures that were in the
pages
packet.
19 and 20.
Yes,
Page 19
okay,
and
thank
20.
you.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Okay, well, I would think that as many people in U City, since there are many people in U City who do ride bicycles, both younger people and adults, that that would be of interest to our patrons.
How much do they cost?
The coolest one I saw was listed as 1,920 pounds, because apparently you can only get in England. But they vary, I think, about $1,000 to $2,000 depending on how fancy they are.
And are they easy to secure?
Yeah, I think it's just bolts into concrete, and then
Gotcha. Okay.
put that on. Webster Groves had theirs done by an Eagle Scout for his project.
Why don't we table that until our building is completed, and then Building and Grounds Committee can discuss the possibility.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Shall we move on to the building project discussion?
Yes, so as we mentioned in the Building and Grounds Committee meeting, we're waiting on scheduling the punch lists for the completion still of phase 1. We're waiting to hear back from RG Ross on that. As we get ready to do the punch list for phase 2A, the demolition, they've reached what they consider substantial completion on that. There's a couple of issues hanging out. As I mentioned, the kitchen needs to be addressed because the plans don't call for demolition of the kitchen, but do call for demolition of the vents and some of the other, like a roof drain above the kitchen that has to be gotten to somehow. And we're sorting that out between Bond and Ranieri right now. And then we're waiting on permits for to begin construction. Ranieri will start they've worked on a couple of things that they could do without the permits, things that don't require that. But then they're ready to begin as soon as that happens.
The other thing I would add is that we mentioned last time about the windows are completed, but there's leaks, and they're working on trying to figure out whether it's the window or whether it's the caulking and how they're going to repair it. So that's
Or if it's
still
the
on-
stone above somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that we're having a little trouble getting that scheduled with RG Ross.
And as Patrick mentioned in the committee meeting, RG Ross is responsible for making that right. That is not going to add to our costs, since they are responsible for installing the windows to work as windows are supposed to, which is to keep out the rain. Okay, any questions for Patrick on this? Patrick, when you get a schedule for that punch list, would you like to let the board know? Because
Yes.
some people on the board might like to join.
Okay, I'll forward that to you when we get that. I have something from Ranieri, but I think it was more just discussing possible dates.
Okay, great. Okay, moving on to action items. The first action item is the election of officers. The current slate of officers, which includes, me as president, Jerry Lander, vice president, Cindy Zerwas, secretary, and Aaron Ginsberg, treasurer. This slate has agreed to stand for election for a second year. However, there can be nominations for the floor. So I'd like to call for any nominations from the floor for these 4 offices.
It certainly wouldn't hurt my feelings if somebody else wanted to do it either, but that's fine. Happy to do it though.
Going once. Since there are no
Patrick,
nominations.
Patrick, do you
John?
need a motion for us to say that the current officers should remain in there?
What I'd like would be a motion for this slate to be elected so that we can vote once for the entire slate.
Okay, I will make that motion that the current officers who have agreed to follow the role for the second year, I make a motion for that. And I thank you all.
Is there a second? Okay, motion has been made and seconded to elect the slate of officers, which represents those current officers, for a second year. Ms. Zerwas, could you call the roll?
Certainly. Edmund Acosta,
Aye.
Mark Barnes,
Aye.
Aaron Ginsberg,
Aye.
Joan Greco Cohen,
Yes.
Gerald Lander,
Aye.
Helen Nelling,
Aye.
Kathleen Simpson,
Aye.
and Cindy Zerwas, aye.
Thank you. The current officers will continue for a second year. I would like to thank the board for the confidence you have placed in our officers. And I'm honored to serve for a second term with this incredible board. Moving on, you have a proposal on staff credit cards. We have historically, and I'm looking for it, it starts on page 7, I believe. Historically, we have provided credit cards to certain of the staff members. With the change in staff, we have to add a couple of staff members. Carrie, as assistant director, should have a credit card, and Kara. So we got a Carrie and a Kara should have a credit card. The limits on those cards are the same as we have had historically. There are no changes except to add those two individuals. Is there any discussion on this?
Well, my question is, who reviews those credit cards monthly?
I do.
Okay, so you see what people have used them for.
Yeah, we have in the policy that anything, larger or more than $50,
Okay.
they let me know ahead of time that they're going to do it. And then I check it each month as the statement comes in. Cindy Dykeman also, goes through and does it, make sure we have the receipts and assigns it a line item. And then it comes to me and I just check off to make sure it's all in line.
I was just saying, when I was with the finance committee, you and I looked at all the bills and things that came through, but I don't remember looking at credit card things, but those were probably on the credit card.
Yeah, it was usually, it's like a packet with the credit card statement, all the receipts, and then on the statement itself, Cindy's broken it down, each transaction, by what it's for.
Well, just so somebody looks at that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it does go to Aaron then too, yeah.
I mean, not so much the mistake by our card holders, but obviously people get a hold of cards and other people that should.
Oh yeah,
card.
We've had several cards canceled because of a mall in Virginia.
Yeah, right.
Was getting a bunch of
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Patrick, who looks at your card?
I guess Cindy and then Aaron besides me looking at it.
All right. Okay. So it's all up to Aaron.
The checks are in place. There are multiple people reviewing it. So.
Okay.
Could I have a motion to add Carrie Bruce and Kara Kreckler as card holders?
I so move.
Second?
I would like to second that motion.
Okay. A motion has been made and seconded to provide Carrie Bruce as Assistant Director and Kara Kreckler as Head of Adult Services with $500 limit credit cards. Cindy, can you please call the roll?
Edmund Acosta,
Aye.
Mark Barnes,
Aye.
Aaron Ginsberg,
Aye.
Joan Greco-Cohen,
Yes,
Gerald Lander,
Aye.
Helen Nelling,
Aye.
Kathleen Simpson,
Aye.
and Cindy Zerwis, aye.
Okay, the motion is approved. Go forth and spend wisely. The next item for action is the addition of a part-time position. The Personnel and Policy Committee did review this request and is in favor of this request. Patrick, would you like to just quickly explain?
Yes, so we've got two full-time building staff, Dallas and Steve. Both of them have been and will be out for just health-related reasons in the coming months, past few months. And we're also looking at, gearing up to move back into the other location. So we were hoping we'd get a part-time building person to help with the tasks that are sort of piling up now and to get a start on that. Additionally, our plan before this had been to go back to having someone, a janitorial service, help to make sure that the new building keeps clean. And if this works out, perhaps we can keep this person on staff doing that when we get into the new building. But that'll be that's a possibility. But for right now, we'd like to at least get somebody in to help with moving stuff around. We're running out of people who can lift heavy boxes. So,
Are there any questions?
I would just add that this will not take us over the part-time budget because there's been such a turnover. We haven't quite got to full staffing for a while.
Okay, any other discussion? And may I have a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we hire this part-time that we create this part-time position so that we can hire someone to help move boxes.
Is there a second?
Sure, I'll second that.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded that we add a position, part-time custodial position for the near future. Cindy?
Edmund Acosta,
Aye.
Mark Barnes,
Aye.
Aaron Ginsberg,
Yes.
Joan Greco Cohen,
Yes,
Gerald Lander,
Aye.
Helen Nelling,
Aye.
Kathleen Simpson,
Aye.
and Cindy Zerwas. Aye.
Okay, the motion is approved. Patrick, go forth and hire.
Thank you. We will attempt to do so.
Okay. The next action item is to approve amendments to the current year budget. And Aaron, I believe as head of the Finance and Budget Committee, you would like to
I would like to share the bottom line on that, especially thanks to your help, Helen. And if anyone wants to double check our math, it's on page 38. So the total increase in revenue is 49,293. The increase in expenses is 27,785, which means that in our favor, $21,508 benefit for the library.
Though not all of that, may be realized because we're still behind on collections of a couple other lines in revenue. But it is good news for what it is.
Good news. Yes.
Yeah. Are there any questions about that? Okay. Can I have a motion to accept these amendments to the,
Move approval.
okay, a second?
second,
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the third quarter amendments to the 2021-2022 budget as outlined in your packet. Cindy?
Edmund Acosta,
Aye.
Mark Barnes,
Aye.
Aaron Ginsberg,
Aye.
Joan Greco Cohen,
yes,
Gerald Lander,
Aye.
Helen Nelling,
Aye.
Kathleen Simpson,
Aye.
and Cindy Zerwas. Aye.
Excuse me. The motion passed and those amendments will be added to our budget. The next item is we have 3 different payment requests. The first is from Midwest Service Group. Patrick, do you want to speak to this?
Yes, these are the people that performed the abatement, and the payment request is for the amount approved in the contract by the board, and the change order amounts were at the rate per item approved by the board as well, for the additional pieces of piping they found with asbestos and some other items on there. So the total amount is I've lost track of that. Sorry.
$62,595.
Okay.
Okay. Let me back up and say that we're missing prevailing wage information from this group also.
That is correct. Yeah. So we'll have to get the.
Or we do need to abide by Missouri's prevailing wage standards. So since we have not yet received that information from Midwest Service Group or from Ranieri, who, and we're going to discuss an invoice.
I'm sorry,
from them.
I'm Ranieri, we did. But,
We did, okay. Just for Midwest Service Group.
Yeah.
whoever makes a motion to pay this bill, I would request that they make a motion to pay the bill, assuming or after Patrick has checked that they're compliant with Missouri's prevailing wage law. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Can I have a motion to approve this invoice?
I would like to make a motion that we approve this invoice pending the receipt and review of the prevailing wage documentation.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. Okay.
I'll second
Motion has
that.
been made and seconded to pay Midwest Service Group after we receive the prevailing wage information from them. Cindy?
Edmund Acosta,
Aye.
Mark Barnes,
Aye.
Aaron Ginsberg,
Yes.
Joan Greco Cohen,
Yes.
Gerald Lander,
Yes.
Helen Nelling,
Aye.
Kathleen Simpson,
Aye.
and Cindy Zerwas, aye.
Okay, so we will pay Midwest Service Group. The next invoice is from Bond Architects. It's actually kind of a small invoice.
And that one I'd move to the consent agenda, Helen.
Oh, that's right, you did. Okay. So then the last one is the payment request from Ranieri, and we have received the prevailing wage information from Ranieri. Are there any questions about that invoice?
And it's two separate invoices, one on phase 2A, the demolition, and one on phase 2B, the renovation.
And those invoices were reviewed by the Budget and Finance Committee.
Can I make a motion that we approve them together, or do they need to be approved separately?
Let's do it together.
I would like to make a motion, if it's okay with you guys, that we approve the payment to Ranieri Construction for a total of $137,675.70.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to approve the total invoices presented by Ranieri. Cindy?
Edmund Acosta,
Aye.
Mark Barnes,
Aye.
Aaron Ginsberg,
Yes.
Joan Greco Cohen,
Yes.
Gerald Lander,
Aye.
Helen Nelling,
Aye.
Kathleen Simpson,
Aye.
and Cindy Zerwas, aye.
Okay, the motion to pay Ranieri's invoices has been approved.
Before we go
The next,
further,
yep,
can I interrupt with just a note to Mr. Clay that the terms for Helen Nelling and for Joan Greco Cohen are up in June, but that both those board members have are eligible for an additional term, and if they're willing to serve, Mr. Clay, if you could handle that.
I certainly
serve.
can.
Thank you.
Patrick, is this my last, this is my last one, right? My last 3 years?
Eligible for third term, yes, 6/22 to 6/2025.
Okay.
And then,
it's my second.
yes,
Okay.
and then Edmund will be, his last meeting will be next month.
My
Oh,
last
goodness.
one.
Really?
Thank you for your service.
Yes.
So we will have a vacant seat, but I also just wanted to thank Edmund so much for all his help.
We should have a party.
I second that motion.
I
Well,
will
Patrick-
supply the liquor.
Patrick, you stole my thunder.
I'm so sorry,
I was
didn't mean to do that.
I was going to start out my president's report by thanking Edmund for his dedication and his commitment. We wouldn't be where we are today with our library if it weren't for the years that Edmund has devoted to this organization. Don't be a stranger. Make sure you come around. And I think a party is a great idea.
I'll
I'll
work
work
on
on
that
that.
too. I'd be glad to support anybody else to, to make that happen.
I will work on that.
Okay,
I can help you, Joan.
Okay, that would be great. Edmund, and with the three of us, or we can all get together and talk or whatever. I can do it at my house. I don't care. We'll chat.
I'll listen. Very good. Okay.
The second thing I wanted to mention was that now that the election is completed, I will be reaching out to people about committee assignments and committee chairs. We won't do this during the board meeting, but expect communication from me on that.
Okay.
And then finally, as far as summer meetings go, we have traditionally not met in person or Zoom in July or August, except to pay bills. So I am suggesting that we continue with that tradition. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so all we need is if bills come in that are over Patrick's approval authority, we'll reach out to you to have just a very quick special meeting on Zoom to pay those bills.
And there almost definitely will be some.
Yep. In what we're going through right now, absolutely. So, okay.
Helen,
Committee.
Mr. Clay has a note to share with us.
Oh, okay.
Yes, simply that the city manager did respond, and what he says, the developers tell me they're about a year from breaking ground on the this is on the hotel.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there you
So
go.
we'll just be moving in. Great. Okay. Committee reports. Edmund, long-range planning.
Long-range planning. By the middle of next week, I will provide to each of the board members an opportunity to capture some of your thoughts on long-range planning, some of the issues that you think might be important over the next 5+ years. And you'll receive two pieces of paper. One piece of paper will have a selection of 6 different priorities that would serve as a category for you to include your issues within. And the other item, the other piece of paper, will be a collection of phrases and words that I have found on other mission statements, on other mission statements of other libraries, public libraries, missions, values of other public libraries, and visions of other public libraries. We have our own mission statement already. It's available right on the internet. Just plug in mission statement for University City Public Library, and you will get them. And so I've taken to heart some of Joan's wise words. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. So there are plenty of
I
other.
just said that because I get cranky about this topic.
Maybe
This
that's
thing, I told Helen, I am the worst person for that committee. I don't get it. I can't think about, I mean, it's just beyond me. I just don't get it.
This is a solicitation. Part of this is a solicitation for the rest of us who have not been involved in this generation up to now to throw in some thoughts, issues, risks, thoughts about risk and challenges and transformations. You'll have some some suggestions to work with. So, so you'll get these 2 pieces of paper out within the by midweek of next week. And then if you would, jot things down and provide them to me, and I'll try to put them together by the next time we have another long-range planning committee meeting. So that's the story. I'd like to engage the rest of us in the board who have not been engaged yet. So stand by.
Thank you. Cindy, personnel and policy.
I want to thank all of the board members for turning in their evaluations for Patrick. Helen, I don't know what schedule you have for the next part of this.
Okay, let me say that we need to go into closed session to suggest to the board our recommended salary for Patrick. And unfortunately, that didn't make the agenda, and it's a rule that has to be announced that we're going into closed session. So we will bring that recommendation to the board at our next meeting.
Okay.
And though any increases effective July 1, so we're okay in doing that.
Thank you for that
And what is the
clarification.
date of that meeting, Helen?
Pardon?
The date of the June meeting?
The June
I know it's on the
meeting,
list, but I can't see it
I
right.
can tell you
June
that.
8th.
Huh? June
June
8th?
the
June 8th.
8th. Mhm,
Thank you.
mhm. Okay, Cindy, do we have another committee meeting for personnel and policy?
It's coming up.
Okay.
No, I don't have it
The
in front of me.
25th, I think.
Thank
I think
you.
it's the 25th at 2:30.
Thank you, Joan.
Okay. All right, 25th at 2:30. Budget and finance, Erin.
Well, we pretty much covered everything when we discussed the third quarter budget amendment and paying the outstanding bills before us. So I think we're good.
Okay. Gerald, building and grounds.
Ditto. I think we covered everything. We discussed everything. I think Patrick did a wonderful job of bringing us up to date where we're at with the old building. And there's nothing apparently really going on that's a problem with the building we're using currently. So nothing to add.
I am going to request a favor of everyone. We've been having the budget and finance and building and grounds committees prior to the monthly board meeting. That does not work for me on Wednesday, June the 8th. Can I ask your indulgence and have Patrick go out with another date? If you could possibly do that at the same time on Monday or Tuesday of that week, I would greatly appreciate it.
Either one of those days works for me.
Okay.
I am feeding baby possums and squirrels on Tuesdays all day. So Monday is better for me.
And I'll have to check my calendar, but it probably would be fine.
Okay. Okay, Patrick,
So
can
we'll
we
look at
try to
Monday.
have that then on the 6th of June, on
Okay.
Monday, have those two committee meetings?
Okay.
I think
Monday works.
All right, is there any old business? Is there any new business?
Haven't we covered everything?
I think
I think
so.
so. Nice
Thank you.
job, Helen.
We
Thanks,
run
Helen.
over a little bit, but thank you very much. You're just the best board ever.
Oh,
And I look forward to seeing you next month.
You're doing a very good job running it too.
Thank you. Thank you.